Yeah, did you know that the Bible is the only code of antiquity to talk about that if you find a runaway slave, do not return him to his master, do not oppress them, but find them a place to live, integrate them in society. And the skeptics who make so much money by insulting God's word, insulting Jesus Christ, with people who claim to not even believe in them, right? They always omit this Bible verse. If they were a true skeptic who's thinking about everything, they would not omit that. And the few times that McClellan and Deconstruction Zone, all these guys actually mention this verse, they're so nervous and insecure, they breeze right through it. And what they say is, well, they didn't want to strengthen their enemies. That's why they didn't return them as labor to those countries. So it's amazing how confident they are to say that. But that yet we do not have one duplicate of antiquity for them to be so confident in this assessment, right? And then the full ironic circle is that the abolitionists are Christians who said this is not what God wanted. And then they'll claim, well, this is just Christians borrowing from philosophers because there's nowhere in the Bible that gives slaves any kind of right like this. Well, actually, that is their presupposition. That is their univocality within their own consistency, what they want the idea of God or no God to be. Because the God of the Bible did stipulate this. And the verses where there are stipulations about slaves, if not some kind of, prisoner of war that instead of killing them or some kind of debt, right? Remember, there was no Social Security, there was no welfare, there was no WIC, there was no Section 8. So, and the pagan nations were doing crazy things I can't even say. And if God just simply made it completely forbidden, he would have forced the foreigners to remain in those nations. And they never mentioned that either. So yes, this is something that they do. We know in our heart there is a God who's a moral lawgiver. So these channels make a lot of money by artificially plugging in that hole and letting you know you're better off without it. And they don't even give you all the information.